The PlayStation 1 had its own way of illustrating the story of a game, no matter if it was a pro skating game or just a hero defeating a villain. For us, it was a completely new way of storytelling. I mean, games like Crash Bandicoot and Tomb Raider are extremely popular to this very day, yet there is another side of this console many at a young age didn't discover quite right. Horror games. We'll probably refer to most of them as analog horror, because they just fit the aesthetic pretty well. You got the lightning, mysterious aura, and everything just seems poorly recorded. Yet they had something many games lack today: atmosphere. Welcome to Descending, a psychological horror simulator by the developer Lef. You play as an unnamed character who is just about to start his first day as a drilling operator. His new job takes him to the bottom of a giant pit, where you directly approach your living quarters. After you take your first steps from the elevator, you realize pretty fast that there is no way back. At first, it shouldn't be a problem. You can always contact someone or just call the elevator back up, right? The only thing to keep you company is an old one-way fax machine. The game didn't even start, yet you feel a sense of unease, a perfect tone of isolation and dread. You really experience an eerie silence rolling the place, only broken by your own actions. If anything happens, the drill malfunctions, or perhaps you fall into an incident, the cards don't look good for you, so you better watch out. At this point, you reach your workplace. There are multiple boards and a control panel, a water dispenser, or whatever that is, a battery station, and a lot of propaganda posters from the Soviet era randomly placed all over the quarters. What you cannot miss is that you're instantly hit with a monotonous glow of light similar to the Backroom series. The atmosphere couldn't be more depressing. Suddenly, the fax device starts printing. Welcome to your new position as a drill operator. You will have to meet the quota of drilling distance every day. Please punch in the provided passcode and familiarize yourself with the control panel indicators. Your passcode for today is 61241. Sounds simple enough, so you just grab yourself the control panel. The drill starts and our daily quota starts dropping. As the next document informs us, this silence is about to be broken. The work will become more complex as we will receive further instructions when it's necessary. We're off to go to sleep and the first day ends. You wake up to the sound of printing. The next instruction is already here. The narrator informs us that there is a gas storm approaching and that we need to make sure everything is closed off. A yellow light will glow if everything is airtight, and a red light will glow if there is a leak. Sounds fine, so let's go to work. As the storm approaches, we are informed that we have to change the battery of the drill when it turns out of power. We can get that from the battery station right behind us, and need to carry it downstairs. Following our instructions, we come to a new area, meeting 2 drill machines. We take the battery and send it down, making the drill operate again. Yet, in the corner of the room, you notice a strange note. The numbers on the indicators sometimes feel made up. I know I wasn't the first operator here, but somehow both drills display a depth like they only just started. Not that it matters much. Must be what I'm told. Also, a landslide destroyed the cigarette machine today. Shit. Why was this hidden and how did it get here? It had a valid point, yet it made you question, is there someone else down here? Making your way up, you realize that this is all a bit strange. I mean, there were clearly workers before you here, and the drill is only at a depth of around 170. Either they were really slow, or something foul is going on. You wake up to the wind howling at your quarters. It is when you realize that corrosion can cause breaches in your walls and that you will need to seal them if it occurs. Otherwise, the storm will flow gas into your workplace and you will most probably die. We're also introduced to RPM and temperature for the machines. To be honest, it's not much that happens here except some battery changes, and the fact that we need to manually restart the drill when it goes out of power. Overall, we get a positive feedback for our work and, well, that it's good for our nation in some way. Yet this is where question over question starts forming. Where are the corrosion holes from the storms before? Why is it so important for the nation, or Even more, why is it kept so secret if the nation needs us this much? And most importantly, who wrote the note we found? And this one. Hey Iron, hope you're doing okay. They told me that your contract was extended, so you won't be back for a while. That's awesome. We're all waiting for you to come back a hero. Your son says hello. P.S. Please keep this message hidden. I'd like to keep my job. Also, heard the manager was very angry that you drew something on the water cooler, so maybe cover it. This name, Iron, is not something that we are introduced with. Is it us, or perhaps someone else? We don't really know yet, or at the very least, we can say that there is no trace of this person here. We make our way in and really do find a note on the water dispenser, a code hidden behind. Going through our bed, we can find a small safe that needs 4 numbers to open up. Perfect. Three more notes from Iron. Managed to pull some blank paper out of the fax machine. Gets very lonely down here, so I figured I'd keep a little diary. I'm Iron, been working here for a little while. I hope I find the deposit very soon, because the shifts are really starting to drag. The left drill is slowing down, more and more each day. I don't think it's got much more juice in it. What will happen if it stops? They gotta send someone down to replace it, right? I can't wait to see another human face after being here for so long. Maybe they'll pass along a letter for me. I keep thinking about the war. I was outside today during a storm and inhaled some of the gas. Was vomiting for hours afterwards. How can this be right, to do this to someone else? As a first, our buddy claims he's been working here for a little while. So long that he missed seeing another human being. Yet he only managed to drill to around 160 meters below the surface. This cannot be. If you continue reading, you might also start to question if these gases are really a side effect of drilling. Iron knows something we don't, but we can't ask him. 2 shifts left, yet nothing really changed except more work. We don't get any further instructions and get to another day of drilling. Breaches become more common and we need to cover the holes. Watch the temperature, the rounds per minute, and what was a relatively easy job becomes overwhelming. Too much for one person to handle, fighting for life and death. As we work, something goes wrong. The fax machine gives us another letter. The drill has suffered a catalytic failure, and we need to descend to the bottom and perform a manual maintenance on the drill. That is all we have to do today. So we go downstairs and descend the crane that we were once attaching batteries to this whole time. Why are there lights in this tunnel? It's drilled by an automated machine that can't really do anything on its own. Nobody has been down here. A dead body lies on the floor. There are electrical hooks on the back of the person. The batteries were descending this whole time were full, and there's a shovel stuffed into the ground. My name is Iron Jasker. They tricked me. There was no drill. I have to dig to earn food. I pass out and get electrocuted back awake. My head is exploding. I can't. You did this to me. And now, they've got you. And just as we arrived in this world, the only way back is now gone. What now? One final task. This whole time, we didn't control a drill. The war, work, and communication, all rigged from the beginning. It covered up everything this inhuman experiment tried to accomplish. Iron was just like us, a man sent to make money and seen as a hero to take work no one else wanted to do. Yet he was unknowingly torturing the victim that came before him. The RPM, temperature, and depth weren't the drill. It was Iron's heart to prevent him from suffering cardiac arrest. We were adjusting the temperature of this place from a range of 50 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit and secretly feeding him. He gave everything and waked up again and again, getting electrocuted to the brink of death, until eventually he he couldn't stand it anymore. The note shows us this pretty well, due to the crossed words. Trapped in a world where from the first step, we were never meant to leave again. Old VHS tapes used to be a way for people to store and watch movies. If you are from my generation, you may barely remember them. With time though, this method got replaced with easier formats like CDs, DVDs, or even floppy disks. It was just a much easier way to mass produce movies, and of course, it was way cheaper to make. Still, there is a certain mystique to this unique method of photography, and its aesthetic deeply connects to today's analog horror. Through time, there have been a lot of records of people buying lost VHS tapes. Whether it be at a second-hand shop, accidentally by buying old televisions and them still being inside, analog equipment, or other places like old movie stores, you sometimes wouldn't really know what you're getting yourself into. I found an interesting post on the r/lostmedia subreddit, and it's about such a lost VHS tape. The user talks about him picking up a few tapes from a local recycle center. After coming home and playing the tape, he was a little confused. The tape shows what looks like two figures balancing on some type of rotating machine. There are multiple close cuts on the figures, and they appear to be a man across from a strange humanoid figure. The title card shows Control and Obsession number 2. Being a little bit confused and perhaps even scared, he shows it to a few friends, and one suggests he should digitize it. And the user agreed. The following footage is the found VHS tape. The footage is something over 2 hours long, yet we only get to see around 30 seconds of it. And now you might ask yourself, what is even supposed to be represented with this? Well, many people on Reddit also ask themselves the same questions. Deep searching the internet, Reddit users found out the origin of the video, and this was not a school project. Actually, it's a piece of art by an artist called Show Del Pra. I hope I pronounced that right. The video is supposed to represent the cultural differences in society, or to be rather exact, the Western industrial-aged colonists and the Western exotic primitives. To the surprise of the user who originally found the tape, this was not some piece of cursed media. But I hope I could illustrate to you what horrors could be lurking behind those tapes. Today I want to introduce an analog horror game that fits this concept pretty well. Let me introduce you to Channel 64. In Channel 64, you play as a homeless man looking for something to eat. Being really desperate, taking any job we can, we get one at an old movie store. You're instantly hit with the buzz of light, and it probably will remind you of the background series. The aesthetic of the building seems rather forgotten. The player is given a view like he himself is watching an old TV or even VHS tape. This only empowers the unsettling nature of the game and gives it a unique approach. While roaming around, you get to know your surroundings. There is a chair, what seems to be an old PC, a phone, and some sort of vent, a toilet in the back room, and a storage room which we will need later. It is at this point that the phone starts ringing. Our boss informs us about the task we will have to do. It's actually pretty simple. Digitize old VHS tapes, one by one. The tapes drop from a small elevator built into the wall. You have to take them, put them in the TV, and then turn the knob on the bottom of the TV to digitize them. Alright, let's get to work. Turning the knob, you realize there is an image and sound being produced. The first tape seems a little bit goofy and displays a dog doing, well, things a dog usually would not do. Uncanny Valley would fit this one pretty well, but it rather seems like an oral commercial from some Asian language. Though at the end, there seems to be a number shown. Not thinking about it much, you make your way into the storage and put the VHS away to get the next one. This one also seems to display some sort of commercial for food mashing. Still a little goofy, but it gives you some sort of safety, and maybe this is a chance for you to finally get off the streets. Number 3 kicks the eeriness of the game back in. It seems to show a church from the inside. The footage could also be from a security camera. But besides the church bell, there is nothing much to see here except another number at the end. Putting the VHS away, you realize there is something written on the sides of them. Maybe there is a certain order you should put them in? I guess only time will tell. Let's rather get over the next tapes. Number 4 is probably showing the church we've seen before, but from a much darker angle, and creeped out music in the background. Though it is on number 5, we're hit with something that really gets us invested into the story. The footage starts with blood on the floor. There seems to be a person walking down the hallway covered in bloodstains, all until he meets someone at the end of the hallway. Then, the videotape then cuts to black, and shortly after, we see something else. I'm sure many, besides our protagonist, would not know what to do in this situation. Finishing your business, you turn around and... what was? Probably the tapes climbing on your nerves. You just take the next one and sit down. This one seems to show a person looking or stalking someone out of a window, until really fast it turns black. Number 7 also seems kind of out of place. It's a robotic voice that tells us something about a subject that is being observed. It doesn't really seem to make much sense, but it is a little bit longer than the others, all until something whispers in your ear. A pale white man stares into your soul. Not a single word is said, but you can hear the door behind you being opened up. Fast steps all the way towards you, and you stand up to check. But there seems no one around you. This job is only getting weirder. The next tape shows us a rocking chair that starts moving on its own by the end of the video. There is also a figure lurking on the right side, but it's just not possible to quite identify what is behind that silhouette. Number 10 is the shortest one and just shows an abandoned building. Judging by the doors, it could also resemble the place we're at, even though it is not confirmed. In some parts you can see people walking around the building. It gives some hard vlog vibes like YouTubers will do today, but it rather seems like the recorder of the video tries to stay hidden in some occasions. Nothing special seems to be happening on the next tape, all until I am here text shows up. Number 12 also shows a cellar, which may be connected to the abandoned building we've seen before. Bringing the tape to the storage, you realize the back sides of the tape do show something. Putting them together in a right order, it resembles some kind of maze. You don't really know what this points to, but maybe there's something we need to find out. The last tape drops from the vent, and this one looks a little bit different. For the first time, you can't really identify the number on the VHS tape, and it's all covered in blood. All these tapes do have something in common after all. Each one has a number hidden somewhere in the tape. There's a spot or location indicating that something is there, and it seems like someone is trying to send you a message in some sort of way. Whether the tapes themselves are connected or not, it doesn't really play a role at the first place. The maze also doesn't let itself apply on any section of the game yet, so you really find yourself confused. Out of curiosity, you put the last tape into the TV. You hear the sound of footsteps and run for your life. A timer appears in the right-left corner, and you just press yourself through the vents in the storage room. Running through the seemingly endless vent system, you realize the meaning of the maze. Putting the tapes in the right order shows you the quickest way to exit the building. Confuse them up and you will find yourself lost. Finally, you find the exit to the building, and the game ends. Our boss, by the name of Brian Morris, has been arrested for multiple murders in the location. But there is still things left to answer and that don't make sense. Channel 64 takes a rather unique medium to display its eeriness and horrors inside. For the first few minutes of the game, the player doesn't really know what to expect when playing this game. I think the game itself did a really good job of bringing over a topic many of us probably will like. A crime committed with the ghost or spirit of the deceased trying to give you a hint on what happened. This all escalates though when an evil entity, mentioned in the tape number 7, seems to take over control. Don't take me wrong, the game is in no way perfect, yet it's made with love and a unique concept. The atmosphere is always tense, or rather climbing up through the progress in the game. Sadly, I think there were way too less encounters with the entity itself in the game. There was a few jump scares here and there, but it's rather quick ones. This doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, don't take me wrong, but it's a different experience when you know there is something hidden 100% of the time. There's also a second ending to the game. Let's say you don't manage to go out of the vents on time. You will be found by the entity and end up as another victim. A screen will then pop up that displays the chat. From playing the game, we can tell that one person is our boss, Brian. The other person is unknown but involved into the stuff going on here. We found out that it isn't Brian who killed all the people, it's a creature living in the vents. Brian being concerned no one will believe him if he goes out to the public, he uses his money to cover things up, so he wouldn't get caught and go to jail. We also find out that the entity always gets what it wants, referring to employees like you, yet the whole thing with the cleaning is getting a little bit messy. Have you ever watched a horror movie and thought to yourself, that's too twisted to be real? Whether it be a vampire or a monster coming out of the dark, or even worse, a human committing something so evil that you actually can't believe it. Most of the time, these things are just that, imagination. It's a writer's intention or maybe nightmare, and sometimes they even inspire from real-life events that happen like that. To be honest, the Conjuring series is a good example, even though the endings and a good part of the story is from imagination, or Hollywood to be exact. Today we take a look at Fears to Fathom, a game series that covers real-life experiences from users online and just turns them into a video game. As of filming this video, there is 4 games released with another one to come, so let me introduce you to Home Alone. I didn't want to put up this story on Reddit just for it to be called a piece of fiction. I don't even know where to start. Excuse my lack of good storytelling skills. It was in the middle of the summer. My parents had left for that weekend due to a work trip, which meant I was all by myself for the weekend. Also, I feel like I don't have to mention that my sleep schedule was really messed up around this time. I would sleep and get up just about at any time of the day. You wake up from a nap to the sound of your alarm ringing. It reads 8:03 p.m. It's the middle of the summer and you're a 14-year-old boy by the name of Miles. What the game instantly hits you with is a retro-style aesthetic that could be compared to today's Backroom series, or analog horror. Right from the start, even though you aren't even introduced into the functions of the game yet, you feel a sense of unease just from the way the story is portrayed. It's more like you're watching something from the found footage horror series rather than playing a game. You're tasked to do your homework, yet you realize that the narration of the game will lead you through the story. Being too hungry to keep on working, you are to make your way into the kitchen to get some food. It is here where we get a message from our mother who informs us that there is some lasagna in the fridge. Also pulling that message to the side, we see another chat log with Oliver, a good friend of ours. As it seems, we tried to get some friends over, but it didn't quite seem to work out. At the very least, the game tries to give you that little hope that perhaps you aren't alone in this whole mess. So you could say there is a certain feeling of false safety. Just before you make your way down the stairs, you realize a room next to it. Opening the door, it turns out to be your parents' bedroom. Oddly enough, there is no light switch. Taking a look out of the window, you can see a man standing outside and just staring. Realizing that you see him, he walks away. Not thinking about it much, you shake this encounter off and make your way to the kitchen. You grab the lasagna and put it in the oven. While it's heating up, the game gives you a moment of silence to roam around, and this really is enhanced by the heavy atmosphere and feeling of being watched. The ambient music seems to make this situation even more tense. You find yourself spotting every corner of the house just to feel a certain kind of safety. You head back to grab the food, while the narrator gives you the hint that you like watching TV while eating. You turn on the TV and you sit down. And while eating your food, the player is hit with something sinister. Just in the corner of your eyes, you can see a man walking up the stairs. Most people would see this as a classic horror movie situation and just leave the building. But the problem is, our character does not realize the seriousness of the situation yet. This is also known as dramatic irony. For the player, there is no way to evade the situation of somebody waiting for you upstairs. And just as you realize what happened, the protagonist says, "I was already feeling very sleepy after eating the food. There is no way back now." After eating, we get a text message from Oliver. We now are assured that he is not coming over, and we are for sure all on ourselves. While roaming around the house and just passing as much time as possible, just don't go upstairs as the player, the developers hit you with yet another hint to the situation in case you missed the man going upstairs. All of these things, from the man in the window to the steps upstairs to the back door being open, changes nothing to the fact that the character is still clueless to the situation in hand. While nothing else to explore, you walk upstairs. From a player's perspective, you realize that there is a certain dread the characters met while walking upstairs. It's almost like something is telling you not to go there. We make the way to our room and shut the door. After checking the room for anything suspicious, we head back to the task we usually wanted to complete. Our homework. 4 hours go by, you stand up from your chair and realize it's dark outside. You turn around and go to bed to finish a day of hard work. You wake up thirsty in the middle of the night. This forces you to leave your room to go downstairs and get some water. You get confronted with the eerie darkness of the house. Besides that, the fact that someone is in the house plays with the anxiety of the player. The sound enhances every step you make to the fridge, as of every moment there could be something standing right behind you. You drink your water and want to head back to your room. Just a few steps away from your bed, your mother sends you an image. There is someone standing in the front of your door. It looks like someone from across the street took the picture, and looking outside, this seems to be the case. This is the time where you could go under your bed and just hide till tomorrow. But it's where the game seems to confront you and doesn't let you progress until you go downstairs. Crouching next to the door, you see the man. Your mother then sends you another text message. Your next door neighbor Paula has sent the image to her, and the man has been creeping on the house through the day. The cops are on the way and you should get to your room and not leave until it's safe. Important here is that you do not answer the door. Watching the man, you feel unsure whether you should move or just stay hidden until... Hiding under your bed, you try to calm down. There is an absolute silence, not a single sound in the house. You can even hear your own heartbeat, all until a window is smashed. So now the dread is for sure in the house. And just a second after, the door is ringing. A new message from your mom informs you that Paula is just right at the door. The player is now put into a dilemma on whether he should open the door or not. Paula gives you a sense of security while you, as the player, know there is someone there. With safety in reach, you jump out of your bed and walk to the stairs. When suddenly... the intruder is right in front of you. What will you do? Run right past him or just keep hiding? Will he eventually come right at you? Too much thinking. Just as you decide to run down the stairs, the police arrives, and you feel a sense of relief. You're saved. You open the door, and it's Paula waiting for you downstairs. The intruder is now not a problem anymore. From the first minutes of the game, we are confronted with a constant dread. To notice here is that the scene from the beginning is completely optional. It is incredibly easy to miss it if you don't pay close attention to it. Even going through the rest of the house, you will not be able to see him. It's really only the bedroom window. Another interesting thing is that the game, while you may not have noticed, uses your microphone. It is also the reason the man looks at you while we watch him in front of the door. It picks up every minor sound wave. This is more relevant at the later games, but nonetheless it catches the player perfectly off guard. There is also a second ending. If you decide to rush to the door while confronted with the intruder, you will face a painful death and safety won't be on time for you. Fears of Fathom Home Alone is in my opinion better than any fictional story, because there is a true narrative behind it. Anyone, even you watching, could be the protagonist of this game, and the story happened just like this to someone out there. I will end this video with a famous quote from Alfred Hitchcock. There is no terror in the bang, only in the anticipation of it.